Well, Cheri, we're here in downtown Toronto at Coronation Park, and for our viewers watching, tell us a little bit about what's going on today and some of the goals you guys have in mind.
Well, this is a fair and a rally, and later a candlelight vigil in support of Hershey's Law, which is the bill that I tabled at the legislature in Queen's Park to repeal the breed-specific aspect of dangerous dog legislation. So we're not against dangerous dog legislation, we're against the breed-specific aspect of it. This alone has been responsible for the deaths of hundreds of innocent dogs in Ontario in the last 5 years.
Obviously, this is a very sensitive issue amongst a lot of the people. From those that you've been speaking with today, what's the general sentiment? I imagine a lot of frustration and maybe a little bit of optimism with this bill.
Absolutely, a lot of optimism, I would say. I mean, I think there's no question we will win. The only question is when. Do we have to wait until after the next election, or will the government do the right thing now and overturn this aspect of their own legislation? That's really the question. The simple message is it's the deed, not the breed. You know, we are targeting one specific breed when really what we're concerned about is the incidence of dog bites, the incidence of dog attacks. And quite frankly, this bill has had no impact whatsoever on the incidence in the 5 years it's been in place. Clearly doesn't work. We heard from somebody a little earlier who is from Calgary, where they have an entirely different approach, where they've literally quartered the number of dog bites and attacks by education, by staying away from anything like breed-specific legislation, and by in particular targeting children with messages about how to be with dogs, how to train dogs, and with dog owners about responsible ownership. And also, of course, some serious fines if people just are, really hell-bent on doing the wrong thing with their dogs. So that's the approach that works. They've shown it works in Calgary. They've shown it works in other jurisdictions too. We just are waiting for our government to get that message.
And it seems that from talking to other people that the law that was passed in 2005, it was almost like a knee-jerk reaction where a lot of studies didn't really go into it, and the numbers really don't justify what the end result was.
Absolutely. Just about every expert you could speak about in the veterinary field, kennel organizations, show dog organizations, everybody will tell you that this is a nonsense bill, that it was a knee-jerk reaction to a couple of high-profile cases in the Toronto area. The Liberals thought they were going to get votes this way. We're here to prove that they are going to lose votes this way and that they're already losing votes. I've had more emails on this issue into my office, and I know it's mirrored in other MPP's office, than any other issue outside of the HST. So this is a hugely populist issue, and this government is on the wrong side of it. It's interesting, we have Cesar Millan coming up this fall, the dog whisperer, probably the most famous dog trainer in the world today. His dog of choice, the dog he used to show other dogs how to behave, was a pit bull, Daddy, and Daddy just passed away last year. So, but I love the fact that he and again other dog experts have come out on their websites and said breed-specific legislation doesn't work, and it also doesn't work in other jurisdictions either. In fact, in most other jurisdictions where they had it on the books, we modeled ours after theirs, they're dropping it because they know it doesn't work now.
Now, has there been any support from any of the mayoral candidates? I know this is largely a provincial issue, but I mean, are you expecting any of the candidates out today? Have any lent their support to this bill? What's that response been like?
Good question. I haven't heard from any of the candidates. I'd love to hear from the candidates on this issue, but you're right, it is a provincial issue, unfortunately. So the city doesn't have much to say about this, except for, unfortunately, being in the position where they're going to have to euthanize some dogs they probably don't want to because of the government's provincial mandate. I mean, this is a horrible bill. Think about it as an owner, and it's based on the description, by the way, which is not a recognized description of a pit bull even. It just says short hair, broad chest, broad shoulder. I mean, it describes a Labrador Retriever. Now, they never get away with arresting a Labrador Retriever and euthanizing it without letting the owner know. But they're getting away with euthanizing dogs that might or might not fit that description. Again, it's entirely up to the enforcer of the law. I always joke and say that short hair, broad chest, broad forehead would describe most of the male MPPs at Queen's Park, apart from the thin, small tail. Of course, I don't know about that. They wear trousers, right? So who knows? So it's a stupidly written bill. It's a bill that can be misused and is being misused. And we have a classic case of this woman in Brampton where she comes home, her dog has been taken out of her backyard. She has no idea where it is. She finds out through the grapevine it's at the local SPCA office, and she has to pay for her dog to be in there every day it's in there held under the law, and then she has to find an expert that will prove that it's not a pit bull. She does all of that. It costs her thousands and thousands of dollars. The good news is her dog wasn't killed. But I mean, really, is this fair? Is this a fair law? Police don't even have those powers. Police can't come into your house and take something and then charge you for it later. by law enforcement and law enforcement officers where dog control is involved can. So we should be concerned about that as well.
As we end off, what's now the next step, the next process for Bill 60, and where viewers can get more information on this bill to support it?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I would say everybody talk to your own MPP. Make sure they hear from you and hear from you often. This is unjust, it's unfair, it's cruel. And make sure that they know how you feel. Send emails. There's a huge email campaign, as I said, underway. Please be part of that. Sign a petition if you can. I will be presenting petitions all year long for this bill. And we're hoping the government changes its mind, as it's changed its mind on many topics. We're hoping it changes its mind on this one and does the right thing. If it doesn't, 2011 is an election, and make sure at all candidates' meetings and make sure you hold your MPP to account on this very delicate and very, very important issue.
Well, thanks very much, Cheri, and we absolutely support this here at the Fight Network. Thank you very much.